Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing the Zeta Bruticon Racket, aka Swindle. Racket, Swindle, Racket's another name for like something shady, underground business, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, play on words, kind of like, yeah, it's close. Anyway, just like a lot of the other names in here. Anyway, he turns into a Hummer instead of a Jeep, which I guess is kind of appropriate because a Hummer is a war vehicle, and I'd say so far out of these figures, so far he has one of the more impressive vehicle modes because there's a lot more to him than the others so far. I mean, obviously, Vortex has the spinning blades, but other than that, he doesn't really have a whole lot going for him. The Hummer, of course, isn't quite militaristic colors, and it is a metallic goldish color with some nice purple and black accents. And what's really cool about this guy, I mean, he's only like car, I mean, there's a Brawl, which is, well, I mean, I guess there's Onslaught, it's also a truck, but he actually does have some suspension, like some shocks, which is really cool. And he does have rotating front tires, which is really cool. And they are rubber, and he does roll fairly well. So I'd say he's pretty cool. Obviously, he's still kind of blocky and boxy in his robot mode, because I mean, that's the way all these guys are. This is the way these guys are. They're just blocky and boxy, but they kind of have to be for the combined modes. I mean, I feel like I, in some ways, have given him a little too much grief, but I don't know. I feel like at least some of it's justified. But yeah, I feel like he's one of the stronger ones out of the set, although this does look a little bit more like a Jeep. I'm not sure what the front of a Hummer exactly looks like, but that gives me more Jeep vibes than Hummer vibes. Anyway, that's about it for that. But he does have an extra interesting feature that is pretty cool. They didn't have to do it, but they did. You'll see this button right here. You press that, and he has headlights that glow. So that's pretty cool. Nice headlights. Yeah, and then he does also have some other accessories, and the only problem with rubber tires, which is good. It's good that they're rubber tires, that it moves my backdrop around too much. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and turn those lights off. But he does come with some weapons. His weapons, he has a couple of missiles that go on the side of this larger rifle type gun. Of course, they can come off if you want to remove them, but I don't really see the point. May as well just leave them on. And that is pretty cool. And then, yeah, it's hollow at the tip, which is kind of cool. Looks more like a barrel rather than solid plastic at the tip of it. And he has 2 ports on his roof, and it does pivot a little bit, so that's cool. And then his other gun, which is more of his handgun, barrel is slotted. I guess this would be more like a laser gun, obviously. Fairly cool. I mean, it's just a standard gun, which is also, and as you can see the shocks responding, which is pretty cool. And that, I guess it doesn't go in that far, but hey, he can store his weapons in his vehicle mode, and doesn't look half bad, especially considering he's, well, I mean, I guess all of them are pretty much military vehicles, except for Blast Off. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for his vehicle mode. Let's go ahead and get him into his robot mode. Okay, so first things first, let's pull off his armaments. Then you push that down, and I guess that just dislodged a couple other things, but you kind of collapse these down. Panels, so many panels on these guys. Good thing, bad thing, whatever. That's all subjective, of course. So you just pretty much just... Ugh. And I guess I unintentionally undid another panel. Panels everywhere. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Untab the windscreens. There we are. Up there. And you just kind of untab everything. Then I guess tab it back in. Flip this. There we are. Flip it around or not. Yes. But you flip that up, flip these panels back, flip back, and then let's see. Okay, well, let's go ahead. I know that there's something that's supposed to go on with this, but it's been weird. Anyway, rotate that up, rotate that up, then this is going to be pretty much his back up here, but there we are. Just being very stiff. Just disconnect from those right there. And let's go ahead and try to get some more work done on the back, or his. Okay, and then these are his arms, believe it or not. Very, very chunky, of course, as they are all want to be. There we are. Okay, now we're getting somewhere a little bit better. Okay, so you rotate this up, collapse down, and that is his forearm. And then extend, collapse in, as much as it will go. Then you just collapse down like that. You still want to collapse this in, just fold down, and then let's go ahead and go onto his feet. And then kind of just want to get these antennas flipped up. And then you split his legs. Get this to kind of get this rotated around, but it's positioned differently, so that's looks more like a foot rather than the back of a Hummer. And the instructions are being stupid again because they keep falling down. Anyway, there we are. Okay, get these flipped up, get them flipped down, and also the instructions, like I said, it's bad enough going forward. It's even harder sometimes going backwards. As you can see, there's this hinge right here, and it needs to flip around. There we are. Okay, and hopefully not catch on something and break, but just rotate this around. There we are. Get that all rotate around. And this, I'm still not sure what is supposed to be done with this. I think it's, there we are. You pull it out and rotate it around. It's just being very stiff, and I didn't want to break it. That's the problem with some of these things. Like you want to be gentle, but you don't want to be too gentle, if that makes any sense. Because if you're too gentle, then you're never going to get transformed. And then close this panel back up behind here. And then bring this down after you get his foot. And as you can see, now it looks more like a foot. And collapse that down. There we are. Oh, and this part right here, when I pulled him out of the box, this came off because I guess it's not held together all that well. But I could glue it, but I'm afraid to because I don't want to mess up the hinge. But just might want to use caution because it was a little bit of a nuisance to get this back on there. Anyway, let's continue with transformation. So, and I guess go ahead and pop this up. And not, there we are. Rotate around. There we are. That should give us a little more wiggle room. Rotate that around. Pull down. And just pull down like that. There we are. Close up. And then we got his legs done. Yeah, he has no heels that flip out. Unless you do that, then you might have a little bit of heel spur, but that just looks really weird. And also, it's not really supposed to, because as you can see, it tabs into place like that. But it's something you could do if you want to do it. And this, I do believe, is not for ankle tiltage. I'm not sure, unless... No, I don't believe so. That would be really silly, but unless for whatever reason he's supposed to have an alternate like scramble city type situation where he can, you know, I don't know, become an arm, but I never actually experimented into that. But he does have quite a bit of a pivot right there. Anyway, moving right along, let's go ahead and get his arms situated. Let's pull those down and around, and let's go ahead and tilt the camera up. And now we got all this other stuff out of the way, we can go ahead and get this flipped back. There we are. And I don't know why I flipped this. I guess, I don't know, that might be for combine mode thing? Probably. I don't know. Anyway, and that's how you know that. I haven't done this in a while. Yes, I know, you should transform a transformer a few times before you even dare consider doing it on camera, but it's kind of hard to want to transform something when you know it's such a pain to transform. Anyway, enough ranting or complaining. Enough complaining. Yes, quit complaining, you. Anyway, yeah, get the arm in there. Collapse up. Make sure that's pulled out. Flip around. Rotate the hand around. And, excuse me, yeah, pretty much got him in this moment. I just need to flip his head out, which is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love his head. Oh, and also, there's alternate things you can do. I can't remember which one's more cartoon accurate versus toy accurate, but you can have it either like this and this, which I do believe is toy accurate, or, which is kind of funny considering he turns into a Hummer, but anyway, or you can have it like this. So yes, like I said, it's optional position. You can, but in order to do it properly, you just rotate, pull that up, extend it, rotate around, and collapse back down. But since it is a faux headlight piece, you can probably also store it, keep them in vehicle mode like this, because as you can see, the actual headlights are right in there. So yeah, got him in his robot mode. He is blocky and boxy like all of them so far, but he's not as bad as Vortex and Blast Off. Those guys are pretty bad. Anyway, yeah, but this is his robot mode, and he can hold his weapons, and there he goes. That's also another thing about him being so blocky, and they're kind of back heavy, so they just don't seem to want to stand very well. I suppose we could see if this helps at all by flipping those down, but I highly doubt it, but we'll see. It might help. It's not officially there, but I think it actually does help ever so slightly, surprisingly enough. You know, there's not a whole lot there, but anyway, you can make him hold his gun like so, and then you could also make him hold that gun as well, but I don't care that much about showing him off holding that gun, because it's okay, fine, I'll show him holding off this gun too, if he can hold it properly. Never mind, I can't really show him holding off this gun because his forearm is too fat, but he can kind of hold it, but not really. I think that's why they include this gun, because you can actually hold it. Don't say any ports. Oh wait, actually no. I guess it can maybe go on behind his head. Not really. Nope, no, can't. Not really. So yeah, this one's kind of pretty much useless in his robot mode. Oh well. Oh well. Anyway, but yeah, he does look pretty cool in his robot mode compared to the others. Like I said, pretty blocky. And also character card, Racket. There's his Hummer mode, robot mode with this style, and then there's his stats. Wow, well, not surprising. I mean, he is kind of he is Swindle for a reason. I mean, he's more of a works behind the scenes, swindling people, not out in the battlefield in your face kind of thing. But he is very intelligent, which makes sense because he is, and not very strong. Yeah, he's. I guess he's the brains of the operation, at least brains of the operation so far, but we'll see how good he is compared to Onslaught and Brawl. I have a feeling Brawl, based on his name, is probably not very intelligent. Anyway, enough rambling about that. Let's look at his detail, and also not as much kibble. Yes, he is blocky, boxy, but he's the kind of chunkiness that actually kind of makes a little bit more sense, so he's ranking a little bit higher on the list. That's probably why I started off with Blast Off and Vortex, because they're kind of lower down on my list. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, but there's his face, very swindly. Kind of reminds me of Animated a little bit. May the voice actor rest in peace. He was very awesome. Anyway, I keep saying that. Head is on a ball joint, can look up relatively far, down that far. It has a bit of wibbly wobbly. The mouth is pretty cool. That, you know, swarmy, whatever, smile, kind of manic. Although he doesn't have anything else. I guess if he had his weapons and he's fighting, I don't know. But like you said, he's not much of a fighter, so yeah, I doubt he'd really be on the scene in that regard. Anyway, arms go out that far, not nearly as far because, you know, his arms don't go over for transformation purposes, but it's nice stiff rotation right there. Can't do a full 360 because that gets in the way, but you don't really need a full 360. Yeah, I already did that. Bicep swivel, a little bit, about 90-degree bend at the elbow, more than the others, and it doesn't look like, I don't know, a big chungus. I mean, it is chunky, but not as bad as like Vortex and Blast Off. I keep saying how bad they are. And a nice, not nice, but a squeaky swivel, and wrist rotation, and individually hinged fingers, which is still pretty cool. Hip rotation, and as I pointed out in transformation, he does have some pivot right there, which might be for combined mode, but I doubt it. And then it's funny because you have combined numerous times because he is awesome to display. They are awesome to display together combined, but I don't remember that being the case. Anyway, he can do pretty much the full splits. Legs go forward, let's see, about that far. Back that far. So far, he seems to have the best articulation out of the ones. I will admit, Onslaught probably has the best, but that's just getting ahead of things, aren't we? And then thigh rotation. Mainly because of transformation, you get a lot of bend at the knee, and quite a bit of ankle tiltage, which is pretty good. And I guess you can extend his foot out a little bit if you want to, but I don't see why you'd want to. Anyway, that's about it for his robot mode. So let's go ahead and get him into his combined mode. To get him into combined mode, it's kind of similar to gain robot mode, but a lot less steps and hopefully a lot less frustration. So just go ahead like you did before, collapse that in, collapse the antenna, and then untab this. And also that's why it hinges, so that this, well, hopefully not everything comes undone, but so that this can stay in place while this is for the combined mode. Anyway, so you get that out, and then let's see, go ahead and pretty much undo a lot of the tabs, just undo, so that you can get these slipped out, so that you can flip out these things right here, which is going to be allow us to slide on the foot, if I remember right. Yeah, the foot, and also doing that is quite a pain. And just, if you can manage without having to untap everything, but you might want to just untap everything just to be on the safe side, but just untab it and just enough so that you can yeah, pretty much untab it, split, so you can flip these halves out like so, and then just close everything back up pretty much. But as you can see, as much as you would like everything to stay in place, it doesn't quite stay in place as well as you would like, because of course everything has to, not that it has to be difficult, it's just that of course, because you have to access some things that are, well, a few steps involved, you kind of just have to undo a little bit more. I will admit, Combiners Wars Bruticus is a lot easier to do, but then again, he's also doesn't look as cool. Although if I ever do get a hold of the upgrade kits, that would actually be pretty fun, I think, with feet that look better and hands that look better. But one of these days, maybe one of these days. But then again, with really good third-party ones, this one is a good third-party for the combined mode. I will give it that. It is amazing in the combined mode. But when you got amazing third-party ones and ones coming up that you want to pre-order, it's kind of like, why focus on the older things too much? And then, pretty sure there's one other thing to do for up here. Okay, so we also want to pretty much just untab this and get the collapse down and just folded. Okay, and like this. There we are. That makes a little more sense because you're able to collapse that down. And then bring that down, and then there's a piece that's supposed to flip out. Where are you? It's supposed to lock something into place. Yeah. There we are. This right here. So you flip that up and close that down, and these tab right onto there. So that holds this into place. There we are. I feel really silly for forgetting that, but yeah, quick consultation with the instructions, and that was resolved. Now, for the tricky part is to get this slid on successfully, which one of them I actually had to, I can't remember which foot it was, but one of them I had to actually file some stuff down to get it to slide on and properly. Now, I don't know if how well it stays on, but it is better than being afraid I was going to break it. But this one actually, surprisingly, I actually cooperated this time on camera. And of course, if it wasn't apparent, the big old feet are color coded, so you're not going to forget which leg you go on. And as you can see, pretty good ankle tilted. Yes, I know I'm already showing off some of the big bot articulation without even having the big bot here for it. But yeah. Anyway, that's about it. And like I said, like the hip thing, I guess that was just a little bit of extra articulation that they decided to include to be nice, even though he is really boxy. But yeah, this looks pretty cool, and that's about it for Zeta Bruticon Racket, aka Swindle. And if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.